is Attorney General from Arizona, Mark Brnovich, also a Senate candidate. We're supporting his candidacy. Thank you, sir, for being back with us, and we appreciate your time. Congratulations on your big win as it relates to Title 42. You've had a lot of success now in the courts.
Well, thank you very much, Sean, as always, for having me on. Thanks for having my back. And my goodness, the Biden administration has become a full employment act for people that believe in the rule of law and believe in the Constitution. And it's just crazy, all the stuff they're doing. Every week, it just seems like they are doing something else to undermine the rule of law and impose their neo-Marxist vision on America. So I got to keep fighting it.
Well, I mean, that's really the only alternative we have. All right, so we're winning on that battle and that front. You've been fighting on other fronts. But I thought in particular your friend, our mutual friend in Arizona, Andy Biggs, made a very effective point that here's what the law says. Your administration's not following the law. You're not following the law. And if you refuse to follow the law, you should at least resign. If you disagree with Biden flaunting the law, aiding and abetting the law breaking, you should resign on principle. Now, the reality is they're in sync together. And they seem to have no problem being involved in aiding and abetting the law breaking and then providing preferential treatment, no COVID tests, no vaccine mandates, and free transportation to the state of your choice, it seems.
Yeah, Sean, when I first heard that Secretary Mayorkas was going up to the Hill, I thought it was going to be for him to be impeached. I mean, it is crazy that Americans are dying. Our country is less safe. You and I have talked about the record amount of fentanyl and even methamphetamine now that's flooding into our country, the fact that people on the terror watch list are coming in. And literally, just today, we filed another lawsuit against the Biden administration because they are trying to create a rule that would give authority to allow DHS, Mayorkas, and his bureaucrats to grant asylum to migrants instead of federal immigration judges. So think about this. This new rule not only violates federal law, but it's going to dramatically incentivize people coming here. And now when you think about it, when you see what's happening in Title 42, you see what's happening with them stopping the border wall that we sued over, when you see them trying to give benefits to people that aren't here legally, this is exactly what the Biden administration's plan is. They want as many people to come here illegally as possible, and they want DHS to essentially be allowed to unilaterally, and we believe illegally, grant them asylum. So literally, we filed another lawsuit just today trying to stop Biden from undermining the rule of law and he wants the ability to grant asylum to people that aren't here legally.
Let's do a little run through of all the times you've been to court, because you've argued before the Supreme Court. You've had a lot of success. Talk about some of the cases you've been taking on.
Well, we sued President Biden over his failure to build a border wall, and all your listeners, I'm sure, know that not only was the border wall working, but we literally, as taxpayers now, are paying for it not to be built. We sued the Biden administration over his guidance rule, where they are refusing to deport people that have deportation orders. So literally, you have people that have been charged with crimes or convicted of crimes being released, not here just in Arizona, but all over the country, because every country's a border state, because Biden is releasing felons into our neighborhoods. I argued at the U.S. Supreme Court in February over the public charge rule, where the Biden administration is trying to give welfare and government benefits to people that don't have citizenship. As you mentioned just earlier, we were successful. Our office argued to get a TRO to stop them from rescinding Title 42. And just today, we have another lawsuit trying to stop the Biden administration from allowing DHS to grant asylum instead of federal immigration judges. So, I mean, it is crazy what's going on. And Sean, you know, this is a systematic attempt by the left to basically undermine the rule of law and, create a whole new class of folks that are dependent on the federal government, and they're empowering the cartels at the same time. So in Joe Biden and Cartel Kelly's America, we are the victims of a neo-Marxist experiment where American taxpayers are not only paying the price at the gas pump and at the grocery store, but with gangs now infiltrating our neighborhoods and us being less safe as Americans. Shame on the Biden administration, and shame on Secretary Mayorkas, who absolutely should be impeached, Sean.
So he certainly shouldn't be in the job. You're an attorney general. Let's say that I go down to the border in Arizona, and I've been down there many times, as I think you know. And there was a local state legislator. One year, I was doing a segment at the border, and I literally stepped across the border, supposedly into Mexico. I didn't know that there was actually a few extra feet that I had to go to be into Mexico, and I was just showing how easy it was. and the state representative in your state wanted to go after me for entering the country illegally. I mean, it's so stupid, but, welcome to my world. And it's if I were to go down to the border, pick up illegal immigrants and transport those illegal immigrants to the state of their choice, why do I think I'd be arrested for human trafficking? And even though we're friendly and we're friends and I'm supporting your candidacy, wouldn't it be a matter of law that you would have to arrest me and charge me with human trafficking?
Yeah, Sean, the disappointing part about what's going on now is that Arizona, we were involved in another case that went up to the Supreme Court, which limits the ability of states to enforce criminal law when it comes to immigration. The courts have said, the highest court has said, this is the job of the federal government. The Constitution provides that. And that's why when Joe Biden is allowing this, turning a blind eye and encouraging illegal immigration, it's up to the Congress to start cutting off the funding. It's up to Congress to start impeaching these individuals for, we talk about high crimes and misdemeanors. This truly, what you're talking about is a high crime and misdemeanor where you have a people undermining not only our sovereignty, but our federal laws as they relate to immigration. And so this truly is something where Congress needs to do its job and start either cutting off funding for these agencies or start impeaching individuals. And, we, though, as states, I'm using all the tools in my toolbox, which means me having to go into the federal courts to try to get injunctions or temporary restraining orders to stop the lawlessness of the Biden administration.
That's the problem. We don't follow the law anymore. I mean, the law is very clear. We just played the tape. Andy Biggs cited the law that prevents illegal entry into the United States. But not only are they not enforcing it, they're literally aiding and abetting. All right, quick break. More on the other side with the Attorney General, great state of Arizona, also Senate candidate for the primary coming up there, who I am endorsing, Mark Brnovich. More on the other side, 800-941-SEAN if you want to be a part of the program. Also, the Attorney General of the great state of Arizona, Mark Brnovich, is with us. Now, we had this court ruling recently that said that the Trump stay in Mexico policy has to remain in place. The arguments were made before the U.S. Supreme Court, and based on the stay that was put in place, based on them bringing that back, saying that Biden had to maintain it, and it seemed very clear, which is not often the case, and you've argued before the Supreme Court, that the justices are not buying that you can unilaterally pick and choose what laws you want to obey and what laws you refuse to obey.
Yeah, I think that I learned a long time ago not to predict what any federal judge is going to do. But if the justices, and we saw some of these questions from even Justice Thomas, where the Biden administration always has excuses for why they're not enforcing the law or why they're not following the law or even why they're not following court orders. And at some point, it is going to be incumbent or it's going to be the job of federal judges to start holding these officials in contempt. Literally, they need to start holding them in contempt. What the Biden administration has done, and we saw this even on, dealing with the rent, that rule and that lawsuit. We see it now in some of these Remain in Mexico and the permanent guidance lawsuit where they lose in the courts and then they tweak the policy just enough and they keep doing what they're doing. So even in the Remain in Mexico policy, the Title 42 stuff, they started carving out exceptions even before the policy went into effect, saying, oh, well, this is not going to apply to the Northern Triangle or the Central American countries. And so what we are seeing is a sneaky left, and this is what happens when you get these apparatchiks, and I don't use that term lightly, Sean, because my family fled communism. The reason why people come here is because the rule of law has to mean something, and government officials have to be accountable for their malfeasance or their willful disregard of the law, and it's not happening. And you get these folks in the Biden administration, these officials, that literally know they're breaking the law, and then even when they lose in court, they try to figure out a way to get around it, and they change the policy. And I just hope at some point, especially the U.S. Supreme Court, not only slaps down what they're doing, but sends a really clear message that what they're doing is contempt of the court, and they will not tolerate this lawlessness anymore.
Following the candidacy, Mark Brnovich, Attorney General, Arizona, has my support for Senate out there in the primary that's coming. I think your primary is in August, isn't it? It's late.
Yes, it is. And remember, Sean, we've got this great website that you love so much called Mark B for AZ. See, we changed it for you, markb4az.com.
Well, what was the first one? Brnovich for Senate. I'm like, nobody can find that website. Nobody knows how to spell Brnovich. The only reason I can spell your name successfully on this show is because it's right in front of me, Brnovich. You really think Brnovich for Senate, people are going to find that?
Yeah, as one time, as Justice Scalia said to me, rest his soul, he said, "Why can't you have a good American name everyone can pronounce?" So, because
Did he actually say that? Oh boy, I don't think that would
we were
fly in
talking
today's world. Listen, I have nothing against your name, but using it as, teamherschel.com. It's like it doesn't get any better than that, right?
No, I'm not very good at politics, Sean. I'm a kick-ass lawyer. Ooh, can I use that?
I think you've done a great job for the people of Arizona, which is why I'm supporting you, and I know where you stand on the issues, which is really why I'm supporting you. I don't support people because they're friends. I support people if I really believe they're America first, make America great, and they're fighters. I know you're a fighter, and I know we agree on the important issues of the day that matter the most, and we need fighters. Mark Brnovich, thank you, sir. Quick break, right back.